on this Monday night.
And liftoff.
Canadian David Saint-Jacques blasts into space with the world and his family cheering him on.
He's up where he wants to be, and we're thrilled.
The mission plus what Canada has on the line.
How this gentleman was able to get on this trip, get this close to the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister's wife and others.
The RCMP admits it knew this man with a violent history and a serious criminal record was planning to join the Prime Minister's India trip. So why didn't they say anything?
And as the world meets to tackle climate change, we go in depth on a species at risk.
Bears in general are having a tougher time out on the sea ice.
They're battling starvation, and humans are caught in the middle. This is The National. After a flawless launch and a warm welcome at the International Space Station, tonight, a Canadian is in orbit again for the first time since 2013. David Saint-Jacques will spend the next 6.5 months up there, and we'll have more on the mission in a moment. But first, the liftoff with the CBC's Chris Brown at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan.
Second umbilical tower.
Being a few hundred meters away from a rocket blasting off is sensory overload. The flash of igniting engines, the chest-pounding vibrations.
Engines at maximum thrust, liftoff.
And liftoff. We have liftoff.
The ear-splitting roar as it slowly lifts skyward. Then just seconds later, it's mostly gone from sight. And for David Saint-Jacques' family, next came a wave of relief and a big group hug once word came 9 minutes later that the Soyuz had reached orbit.
Je suis contente pour lui.
Saint-Jacques' wife, Veronique, along with her friend, Julie Payette, the Governor General, sounded elated.
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling relieved. He's up where he wants to be, and we're thrilled. And the kids were thrilled to see the rocket go. They were cheering for him. So we've got a great energy here. The rocket, the ground shaking just got to us.
To see a rocket take off from Earth is already quite impressive, but when there are human beings on board, and human beings we love and we know, it's even more an emotion.
Saint-Jacques' journey began by leaving Baikonur's Cosmonaut Hotel, where he'd been in quarantine, waving to cheering crowds, and then taking part in another tradition, having his spacesuit fitted, and a last chat with his family.
Allô, Papa.
Of course, his kids managed to steal the show. What did you have for breakfast? Asked the oldest. An omelet and chocolate milk, he replied. Then it was off to the rocket and a final wave goodbye. The trip up to the International Space Station took 4 orbits of about 90 minutes each, ending in a successful docking, and then the hatch opening ceremony that brought everyone together again. And just as the launch was flawless, the rendezvous at the space station went smoothly too, as old and new crew had a quick chat with family and colleagues back on Earth. I'm overwhelmed by what I've been seeing, and I'm holding you and the kids in my heart.
Of the Canadian Space Agency.
His mission is expected to last more than 6 months, so he'll have lots of time to get used to his new, weightless home high above the Earth. Chris Brown, CBC News in Baikonur, Kazakhstan.
Trip of a lifetime, that's for sure. Now, to watch the liftoff here in Canada, you did have to wake up pretty bright and early, and that's what lots of folks of all ages did, some even through launch parties. One at Saint-Jacques' old school, and one at the Canadian Space Agency's headquarters, where an old friend showed up.
The first time I saw David Saint-Jacques, he was making his own surfboard. So that's how he is.
So far, good first stage performance. Soyuz delivering 930,000 pounds of thrust.
He likes to understand the way things function, so he was a born engineer.
Everything looking good. Vehicle is stable. Good first stage performance.
Do you think they'll see any aliens?
No.
No? You don't believe in aliens?
Aliens don't even live.
And we have confirmation of third stage separation. Single.
David is an astronaut now. He is in orbit.
He's still looking good. Third stage
So many Canadians understandably proud today, but what's next for David Saint-Jacques and the crew of Expedition 58 and for Canada's space program for that matter? For a look at that, I'm joined by CBC science reporter Nicole Mortellaro. So, Nicole, David Saint-Jacques, he's up there now. So fill us in on the kind of work he's going to be doing.
He'll be quite busy. He's going to be conducting at least 100 experiments, if not more. Many of them will be health-related because he himself is a doctor.
Right.
But he's also been trained to use the Canadarm. He's also been trained to conduct spacewalks. So should the need arise, and you never know what's going to happen up there, he is prepared to do that.
Right. So I mean, if we zoom out then for a moment and we look at the bigger picture, so Canada's long game, I mean, what's its role going forward, do you think?
Well, I don't think many Canadians realize that we are really well respected in the space industry. We were the third country to have a satellite in space, Alouette 1. We produced the Canadarm, which essentially built the space station that David's on right now. But we need to move forward. And so many people are calling for more investment, but what does that look like? Is it a private and public partnership, just like the US is doing with SpaceX? It could be. And SpaceX today launched 64 Canadian satellites, these CubeSats, these very small satellites into space, for a fraction of the cost that it would be to send up David today.
And a Canadian company, as you
It's
say.
a Canadian company, and we don't even have a Canadian rocket program. So I spoke with Gilles Leclerc a couple weeks ago, and he is the Director General of Space Exploration at the Canadian Space Agency. And I asked him if we were doing enough. He said no. We need a long-term strategy, and many people have been calling for this for quite some time. And many people feel that if we don't have one soon, we're going to be left behind.
Okay, interesting. Lots to watch for. Nicole, thanks very much.
Thanks.
To Ottawa now, where we're learning more about how a man convicted of attempted murder wound up at an official event in India with the Prime Minister and his family. Jaspal Atwal was sent to prison in the 80s after trying to kill an Indian cabinet minister. So when he appeared alongside Canadian officials, it sparked controversy and a lot of questions. Our Hannah Thibodeau now with Who's Being Blamed?
The trip to India was a controversial debacle for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. A new report says he and his family were potentially put at risk and puts much of the blame on the RCMP. The National Security and Intelligence Committee found a litany of problems led to a convicted attempted murderer on guest lists for Trudeau's events. Jaspal Atwal showed up at one and was photographed with members of the delegation. The report says the RCMP knew Atwal would be on the trip. In fact, they knew 4 days before the PM even got to India, but authorities didn't notify anyone. The RCMP had information that Mr. Atwal had a serious criminal record and history of involvement in violent acts, issues which should have been identified as security risks. It goes on to say, the RCMP recognizes that it erred in not providing that information to the Prime Minister's protective detail.
Seems the RCMP are taking some of the blame, certainly, yet the questions we had around the political actors in this whole affair, the Liberal MPs who invited Mr. Atwal onto this trip, remain unanswered.
The report also took issue with the PM's office for putting Atwal's name on the guest list. His invitation was revoked once CBC reported on it.
What I said is that there was coordinated efforts to try to misinform. And I said
one theory floated by the PM's national security advisor at the time, Daniel Jean, was that Atwal was there because rogue factions of the Indian government orchestrated it to embarrass Trudeau. But the 6 findings with respect to those allegations of foreign interference have all been redacted by the PM's office.
Well, recommendations were made by the national security apparatus to the Prime Minister, and as it relates to those redactions, he accepted them.
The opposition says there's no way to tell how much information has been taken out. As for lessons learned, it isn't clear if the RCMP and organizations involved have changed any of their procedures because of this, or if anyone has been sanctioned. Hannah Thibodeau, CBC News, Ottawa.
There's both anger and applause for Alberta's planned oil production cuts today. It is a rare industry intervention to lift historic low prices.
This is a crisis, but quite frankly, it does not need to stay that way. We have it within our ability to get this under control, and that is what we are going to do.
The mandated cut is supposed to ease a glut of 35 million barrels of crude, slashing it almost in half over a period of about 3 months. A short-term fix while the province battles to increase pipeline capacity. It's a problem that is costing the province millions, and the stakes are very real: jobs, industries, and communities. Fort McMurray was built by oil money, and in good times it grew fast. But when prices collapsed, local businesses suffered. Tonight, the CBC's David Thurton asks residents if the province's intervention is enough.
You guys busy today, or?
During the boom times 4 years ago, this garage was jammed on a daily basis, with vehicles needing repair. Today, there's only one truck in the shop. Local businesses have suffered from the weak price of oil, especially at its recent rock bottom levels. So you'd think any measures aimed at boosting that price would be welcome news here. But for the shop's owner, anything short of a new pipeline isn't good enough. Richard Chunnock says that's why Alberta is in this mess.
Yes, I think it could have been avoided to get into a bottleneck like we're in right now.
Our daily special.
Across the street from Chunnock's repair shop, this diner has also fallen on hard times. And when the server hears about oil production cuts, she worries about job cuts.
Fort McMurray is an oil town, and I just don't want to see more harm before the good can come out of it.
This oil sands activist says short-term layoffs are worth it if the industry finds its feet.
Catastrophic closure of oil plants and all that will be far worse for our province.
Already the region's mayor sees signs the cuts are working.
At least that's in the short term, the immediate reaction we've seen is that the prices have gone up. So that's exactly what was predicted and exactly what's happened.
Many people here see production cuts as nothing but a short-term fix. To fix this slump, they need a pipeline, and they need the government to make it happen. David Thurton, CBC News, Fort McMurray.
This isn't the first or likely the last time Alberta will see this kind of crisis or this kind of controversial response. As Aaron Collins tells us, industry is hoping the gamble pays off.
It's been a lean fall for this oil field services company, one of many paying the price for Alberta's bargain basement crude.
If our utilization rates continue to be as low as they are because industry can't make money in the oil gas business, it's the end result's going to be that people are going to get laid off. It sucks.
Since the fall, Alberta producers have been receiving around $40 less per barrel than those in the U.S., a problem caused by too much oil and not enough pipes and rail cars to get it to market. A crisis Alberta's premier says is costing the economy $80 million a day.
What we have going on right now is fiscal and economic insanity, and we just have to stop giving away our most important commodity for free.
The hope is that by cutting supply, prices will bounce back, a move championed by some of the oil companies who will be forced to cut production.
This is not a theoretical discussion. We were about to see wholesale devastation in the upstream industry.
Not everyone in the oil patch likes the move, but so far at least it might be working. The price paid for Western Canadian crude was up sharply today, and it's not the first time Alberta has tried this. Premier Ernest Manning did it in the 50s. Peter Lougheed did it in 1980.
The issue that we're faced with today is of getting product to market is almost 100 years old.
This time, the worry is that cutting production will mean a slowdown, but the hope is that it will be followed by brighter days ahead.
It's going to overall keep some of the companies profitable enough to not go out of business. We're at a crisis where it's the lesser of two evils here.
A gamble that could help get Alberta's economy rolling again. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Well, the oil and gas industry is also top of mind at an international conference in Poland, but the context entirely different. The UN Secretary General warned today that to fight a warming planet, the world needs a complete transformation of its energy economy. And while the U.S. isn't officially in attendance to even hear that message, American voices are taking a leadership role there. Nella Ayed explains.
In a crowd where the U.S. president is persona non grata, other more like-minded Americans are cheered for coming back. He isn't too charitable about his fellow Republicans' decision to pull the plug on the Paris Agreement either.
Leadership in Washington that's backwards. But America as a country, as a whole, did not drop out of the Paris Agreement. It's just that the federal government is a little out of whack right now.
Even as the U.S. president abandons the 2015 deal to cut emissions, negotiators must still implement it. The hallways give a sense of the challenge. More than 200 countries of competing interests, heavy polluters, coal and fossil fuel users, island nations constantly under climate threat. Also represented here, the voice of ordinary people through the well-traveled historian and naturalist Sir David Attenborough.
Do you not see what's going on around you?
Their messages of concern built into a People's Seat address, which he delivered today.
If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon.
A message also heard from two UN bodies, which said that many countries, including Canada, are way off track to living up to their Paris targets to cut emissions, despite glaring warnings of an existential threat.
Climate change is running faster than we are, and we must catch up sooner rather than later, before it is too late.
Last month, Donald Trump dismissed similar warnings in a U.S. government report.
I've seen it, I've read some of it, and it's fine. Yeah, I don't believe it.
That way of thinking repeatedly questioned here today.
Trump's withdrawal from Paris galvanized a response. It's kind of the immune system responding, I say, to an infection. That, I think, has given a message of hope to others around the world.
But that doesn't make the next 2 crucial weeks any easier. Nala Ayed, CBC News, Katowice, Poland.
So now you may be wondering how Canada is doing on reducing emissions to meet Paris Climate Accord commitments. Well, the goal is to bring greenhouse gas emissions down to 517 million tons by the year 2030. In 2015, Canada produced 704 million tons. That's well over. But then in 2016, the most recent year on record, emissions actually went up to 722 million tons. Still 205 million over the Paris goal.
Some other stories we're following tonight on The National. A federal minister is joining calls for an independent investigation over a video that surfaced online from Thunder Bay. It appears to show a police officer striking a young Indigenous woman who is on a stretcher.
They got that on camera. Spit on me!
The video was uploaded to Facebook Saturday night. Police say they were called to assist paramedics with an injured woman and found an intoxicated 17-year-old. The Crown Indigenous Relations Minister says it's a setback to the already frayed relationship between Indigenous peoples and police.
I hope it means that police forces everywhere understand this is unacceptable and that they have got to change.
The police force is looking into it, but Carolyn Bennett has joined calls from Indigenous groups for an independent investigation. That officer in the video is now off duty.
Throughout his life of service, President Bush personified grace.
George H.W. Bush has been honored in a ceremony at the U.S. Capitol. The former president's family and associates gathered to pay tribute following his death on Friday night. President Donald Trump and his wife Melania missed the earlier service but paid their respects tonight. Bush's body will lie in state until the funeral service on Wednesday. Ahead on The National, another tribute to the late U.S. president. His service dog lying at the foot of his casket. The story behind this touching image a little later.
We'll also take an in-depth look at the fight to save Canada's polar bears. Duncan McHugh travels to Canada's north as scientists tranquilize and track a species at risk.
But first, the president of GM Canada talks to The National, his first interview since the company announced it was closing the Oshawa plant.
So we see software engineers downstairs, we don't see assembly line workers. In the future, will car manufacturing die in Canada?
No, I don't think so.
Guess what? It snowed.
So we're going to tell you something you probably already know. Shoveling is exercise, but how much of a workout is it really? So to help us figure it out is Toronto Paramedic Services' Yvonne. Hi Yvonne, thank you so much for doing this. So explain what you're going to do here.
Well, before we get you shoveling, we're going to check your heart rate. We're going to check your blood pressure just to get a baseline so we know what we're dealing with. One finger in there, please. So that's telling us it's done. So right now, your heart rate is 68. That's fantastic. And your blood pressure is 106/66, which is also very fantastic, but that makes sense. So you're in good shape.
So you're going to start the clock. I'm going to shovel for 5 minutes, and then we'll hop back in and check it again.
Sounds perfect.
That's the hard stuff. Oh yeah. Thank goodness.
So let's get you back into the ambulance.
Okay. Well, I definitely am breathing a lot heavier.
Absolutely. And you can see already your heart rate's almost twice what it was. It's at 112 when it was only 66 before.
Right. Definitely feels like some good cardio's happening.
Absolutely. And we've got a blood pressure now, 136 on 77. So that's also increased quite a bit. And that's just 5 minutes of shoveling. The driveway definitely usually takes at
a lot
least
longer. So how did I do?
I think you did amazing. Kept going, no breaks. There was a lot of snow. And it's heavy snow right now.
It is heavy today.
We kind of jokingly in our field call it heart attack snow because it's heavy and people don't realize. They think it'll be a quick job, but it does put a lot more strain on people, and people do end up having chest pain, dizziness.
So before you even pick up a shovel, start with a few stretches to get your body warmed up. If you can, shovel sooner rather than later. Fresh snow weighs less. And of course, if you feel any pain, stop and take a break.
What is this Prime Minister waiting for? GM didn't build Oshawa, Oshawa built GM.
GM has made a big mistake by turning its back on the workers in Oshawa. We will not make that mistake.
1 week after General Motors announced plans to shutter operations in Oshawa, it's still not clear what, if anything, the government could do to save jobs. Tonight, in his first interview since the announcement, GM Canada's new president explains the decision and shows Susan Ormiston where the company is going next.
The future of GM in Canada looks more like this: a high-tech centre focused on electric and autonomous vehicles in Markham. Stung by the fallout from closing Oshawa,
you can see that on each of these benches.
GM Canada's new president, Travis Hester, invited us to tour its growing technology hub north of Toronto.
They have a cluster, a centre stack, which is the screen that everybody touches when they get into the car, and then they can effectively operate the vehicle from their desktop.
450 mostly engineers and coders have been hired on since February. Another 500 are in the plans, all to help execute GM's transformation, as it calls it, to battery-powered vehicles.
We see this as a tremendous value add to Canada. We are now the biggest automotive R&D centre in Canada, and we're growing. We're adding jobs and we're adding development expertise and all the associated things that go with that into Canada, where it just simply wasn't there in the past.
Less than 2% of consumers want an electric car right now. Why do you think that within a couple of years we're all going to change our minds?
Yeah, so growth rates are amazing in electric vehicles, and as you go further forward with emissions requirements, we believe the battery electric vehicles will be the vehicles of the future.
So we see software engineers downstairs, we don't see assembly line workers. In the future, will car manufacturing die in Canada?
No, I don't think so. We are transforming the entire industry, and part of that is very tough in some respects, but transforming the industry includes both the software side and the manufacturing side.
But manufacturing is already the loser. 2,500 jobs will go in Oshawa next year, no matter what pressure from any level of government, says Hester.
Is there still a track saying we'll talk to you about keeping it open?
I've made it very clear to Premier Ford and to Mr Trudeau that we don't have any allocation there. There is nothing to build there afterwards. So it's very difficult to have a discussion on anything beyond December 2019 because there isn't anything to build.
The closure could get messy. Unifor says it's going to, quote, war against GM, which it says committed to no plant closures in the last agreement. GM disputes that.
So, Travis, how do you get around the collective agreement, which says no plant closures before 2020?
We don't believe the document states we can't do that.
So welcome to the lab.
GM's newest hires work in an auto lab, not an assembly line.
This is where we're shooting for our level 5 system. Level 5 means fully autonomous. No steering wheel, no pedals, no need for the customer or the passenger to actively engage with the vehicle at all. Of any kind.
Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Markham, Ontario.
Ahead tonight on The National, a Canadian Olympian finally gets her gold medal moment in our moment of the day.
And we'll take an in-depth look at a species in peril. Duncan McHugh takes flight with scientists working to save Canada's polar bears.
Although I've captured, been involved in several thousand captures of polar bears, each one is different and each one tells a story. Not to mention the challenge of actually trying to get the bears.
What is a powwow? They're social gatherings where everyone's invited to dance, sing, and celebrate Indigenous culture. There are two types of powwows, traditional and competition. Traditional powwows are usually smaller. They have teachings, ceremonies, and a feast. People from all over the country take part in competition powwows. Top cash prizes are given to the best dancers, drummers, and drum groups. They typically follow the powwow trail and attend as many powwows as they can throughout the summer. Dances and songs differ depending on the powwow's location, and each dance style and song has a different meaning. Fancy shawl dancers mimic butterflies emerging from a cocoon. Grass dancers come in first.
The grass dance is a beautiful dance that represents the people that went first.
Jingle dancers are the healers and pray for those in need.
The jingle dress dance is a healing dance that originates from the Anishinaabe people.
Men's traditional tells stories of battles or haunts, while women's traditional move their feet slowly to massage the earth. Dancers work on their attire, called regalia, all year round. They're commonly adorned with elaborate beadwork and eagle feathers on soft leather or fabric applique. These are considered ceremonial, and it is impolite to touch them without permission. Photos are generally permitted, but it is polite to ask permission first. Most dancers will be happy to strike a pose. There are also art and food vendors at powwows.
Get your mocks on, get your braids tight, and I'll see you at the powwow trail. Up to Chinamil. See you later.
We were coming back from Fisher River. We just finished the powwow there in Fisher River, and we were coming down to Long Plains. We set up camp, and we were going to go into Portage for breakfast and coffee. And so my wife jumped out of the vehicle, and she grabbed a few of her things out of the back, and she totally forgot to close the tailgate. I was already in the driver's seat, ready to go. She jumps in, we drove off. Coming to the Trans-Canada Highway turnoff, I kind of picked up speed, and somehow that happened, that my back case must have fell off.
I was coming in from my cottage, and that's when I seen the case, and I just drove right by it. And I guess curiosity got the best of me. I wanted to know what was in the case, so I turned around, I went back, and I got it.
Everything was in there, my roads, my bus, my whole regalia. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of the Cree man that I am. That's my life, that's what I know. That's who I am. That's a way to keep my culture traditions alive and to pass them on.
I never even looked at it, what was in it. I just automatically picked it up and put it in the back of my pickup and just kept going. Once I seen what it was, like I say, I knew it had to be returned to the rightful owner. Well, that's when I done a little bit of investigating and find out where the powwow was, and I brought it out to the powwow.
Just ready to go home and just say, well, that's it. So enough, she happens to go to the announcer stand and she asked for help, and sure enough, there it was. It was just sitting there. I was just so amazed. I didn't know what to do. My face just lit up, and smile on my face. I was just so happy.
I done a good thing that turned into a very good thing. And I'm very happy the man has his stuff back so he can continue on with his traditional dancing.
I'm very, very grateful for what he did. Like I said, a lot of people have lost outfits and never seen him again. So I wanted to come back and I wanted to meet Blaine face to face, shake his hand, and give him something of my appreciation for what he did.
We're watching a federal by-election tonight in Ontario. The CBC News Decision Desk projecting Conservative candidate Michael Barrett will take the riding of Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes. The by-election is to replace Conservative MP Gord Brown, who died after suffering a heart attack in May.
Tonight on The National, the growing hunger of polar bears is cause for great concern in 2 communities on Hudson Bay. In one Nunavut town, in those bears' desperation, they've taken human lives. We're going to show you how the town is fighting back. But first, the CBC's Duncan McHugh takes us to northern Manitoba, where the health of polar bears has been tracked for decades. There's no doubt climate change is choking off their food supply. The only real question is, how long can they survive?
Maybe I'll be the last person working on this subpopulation, because into the future there won't be a population here, or not enough bears to call it a population. Hey, good morning, Jamie. How are you? Great. Yeah, the weather looks good. Looks like we'll have a good day tagging.
Nick Lunn is going hunting. Every spring and every fall, he comes here, Churchill, Manitoba. He's a biologist on a mission to capture as many polar bears as he can.
We're going out to Cape Churchill. It's a place where typically we come across large adult males. We want to capture a sample of bears, somewhere, 6 to 8 bears if we can. And from that, we will take a number of standard measurements, length, weight, and that is another sort of piece of the puzzle to give us an indication the status of bears this year relative to previous years.
Pilot Jamie Bowles is flying us over western Hudson Bay. I'm about to see a live polar bear up close for my first time, and I feel a bit giddy. But it's business as usual for Lunn. He's been at this for 37 years.
Has it changed over the years for you, the feeling of going up to go out for them? I'm always excited. I really enjoy doing the field work. I enjoy the work that we're doing here. Although I've captured, been involved in several thousand captures of polar bears, each one is different and each one tells a story.
Not to mention the challenge of actually trying to get the bears.
Not to mention, that's a whole different subject. Yeah, the actual process is, it's very, you have to be very, very careful.
The very first time Lunn was involved in tranquilizing a polar bear was back in 1981.
Coming off a plane and going to the old Churchill dump and seeing my very, very first polar bear that was being processed, X5547, number 8, was my very first bear. And the moment I saw that and touched my first polar bear, I was sort of bitten, as they say, figuratively, not literally, by polar bears. The genesis here was we knew nothing about polar bears in Canada, so where would you start? Churchill was a good place because the bears all come ashore.
Churchill is where they congregate, part of the Western Hudson Bay polar bears' annual migration. It's where they wait for sea ice to reform after months of summer melt.
A lot of the reasons for the start of the program here in Churchill came out of concern in the late 1960s of unregulated, unmanaged harvest around the world. Large numbers of bears were being harvested every year, but nobody knew how many bears there even were in the world.
He'd be a 3 out of 5 for fat, Steve.
Back then, Lunn was recruited by one of the world's authorities on polar bears, Ian Sterling.
6'5", good thing I checked.
He was Sterling's right-hand man, and they collected vast amounts of data, proof that bears were facing a new threat, climate change.
I was very, very privileged to being able to sort of take the torch, so to speak, from Ian. He started the thing, he had this great vision. And I do feel a lot of pressure that it's been given to me, sort of entrusted in my hands to keep this going.
And the work keeps going, one bear at a time. It's a delicate dance, tranquilizing a bear from the air that takes teamwork between pilot and wildlife research technician Dave McGeechee, who waits for just the right moment. Once the bear is immobilized, the team has 45 minutes to work before the sedative wears off. After that, this 450-kilogram bear that's 1,000 pounds will be groggy but back on his feet.
Head length, 4, 3, 1.
Being this close to a mighty predator, the top of the Arctic food chain, I can see why Nick Lunn was so taken with polar bears, why he still cares so deeply about this work, even after performing it thousands of times.
17600, his left ear tag.
That black book, that's their Bible, with data gathered over decades. Each bear is accounted for. This one, they know well.
11-year-old adult male, captured 3 times.
He's entering the prime of his reproductive life and the prime size for being an adult male.
The details they discover every time bear 17600 is caught gives them a clearer picture of how he'll manage in the coming years. Of everything they measure, blood, teeth, hair, it's the fat that tells the story.
He's in good shape. He's got a lot of fat on him, so he's had a successful winter and spring. Lots of jiggle. He's in really good shape at the moment.
But good news for one bear doesn't change the reality ahead. This NASA animation shows the polar ice cap getting smaller each year, especially so in Hudson Bay. As temperatures keep rising, the sea ice diminishes. The bears are forced ashore earlier and have to wait longer for the ice to return. Polar bears don't eat much on land. Without their favorite food, seals, they go hungry. It's taking a toll. When the research started in the 1980s, there were 1,200 bears in western Hudson Bay. Now that number has dropped to about 800. So we put all our data in together with sea ice data, and when you sort of press the button and out come at the other end, we saw this decline, numbers numerically, decline in abundance of bears, which, that's one thing. But what was driving it, and what seemed to be very significant, was that the date of sea ice breakup had impacts on the survival of bears of all age and sex classes. So there was the final, for us, a final linkage that, hey, it's not just that the numbers of bears are going down and we don't know why. We could now start linking it into a real change in the environment that's having a direct impact on these animals. As polar bears get thinner, they get more desperate, and they become problem bears, so hungry they'll risk a trip to town. Inevitably, they're chased, tranquilized, put in holding cells, and then released further north, far away from human contact. Seems to be that they're getting bears of all ages and sex, females and, with cubs coming in and around town, get the occasional old adult male, late age adult male coming into town. Typically those ones are seen with sort of broken canines. It would be very rare to have a big fat adult male wandering causing problems.
What's that telling you?
It's telling that the bears in general are having a tougher time out on the sea ice than they did 30, 35 years ago. And that's manifesting itself in losing body condition, running low on your reserves, and trying to find sources.
Not bad for 13.
And the next 2 bears they catch show just how dire things have become. When you feel along here, there's not much jiggle to this bear. On the fat scale, he's a 2 out of 5.
It would have been rare to find bears in this condition back in the 80s. Right?
Really?
Back in the 80s, they were much more 3s and 4s. They were in better shape. 1, 2, 3. So it's just a little bit harder for them to make a living today than they might have back in the 1980s.
Okay, 20 wide, 14 long.
I think one thing that attracts me to bears is I look at this sort of environment in the Arctic, and it's to me it's a very harsh and unforgiving climate, and you know the temperatures and the extremes and the darkness. Yet here's an animal, a polar bear, that's evolved to thrive in that type of environment. And looking at the adaptations and specialties that polar bears have developed over time to live and thrive in such an environment, it was just something captivating.
But they're not adapting to anthropogenic threats. The data shows a steady trend. Mothers with less fat give birth to weaker cubs, and fewer of them. There hasn't been a birth of triplets recorded since 1996. The dropping weight of females mirrors the population decline. Soon, no females will be able to reproduce.
Is it going to be 30 years from now, 40 years from now? I wouldn't want to put a time on it, but that's what all the modeling, that's what all the ICE people are projecting, that far out, there may still be ice, but it's not going to be there long enough to support and sustain a polar bear subpopulation. Here in western Hudson Bay.
He's devoted his career to studying these bears. Now their future is uncertain. And no one is following in his footsteps.
Do you ever feel like a sentinel?
I do. I think polar bears themselves are used, as a sentinel of climate change, canary in the coal mine. Here they are, they're giving us this early warning that things are changing.
Churchill, the polar bear capital of the world. But for how much longer if we fail to act and the Earth continues to warm? Duncan McHugh, CBC News, Cape Churchill, Manitoba.
So it's clear as day in northern Manitoba. They're worried about the polar bear's decline. But just a few hundred kilometers north, in a small town in Nunavut, those bears spread fear. Their search for food has cost human lives.
We always tell our children to look outside closely before walking out and to always watch out for any polar bears.
First, though, a preview of an interview you'll see here tomorrow night. New York Metropolitan Opera has a new music director. He's a Canadian. Rosie sat down with Yannick Nézet-Séguin to talk about fulfilling a lifelong dream. Take a look.
How are you feeling about opening night in this new position at the Metropolitan?
I've been dreaming for this moment for so long, and I was named over 2 years ago, and then there was the designate period, and then I decided to start earlier. It's more the feeling like, okay, now we're there, we're doing it. So the stress level is, maybe it's a paradox, but it's actually lower.
Now, the song that you are going to sing, as I recall,
is there's a short story behind that. I went to my 14th high school reunion this past summer in Elliott Lake, Ontario, Elliott Lake High School.
This is the 14th reunion they've had?
No, this first one I've had, and it was 14 years. So I hadn't seen any of these people for 14 years. It was a very emotional and touching experience to see all these people come together for the first time after so long. And I did a bit of a show at the high school, and in observing all of my friends and watching them mingling and dancing, I got all choked up and I went to the washroom and wrote a song there. I hope that doesn't forebode the quality of the music, but it was the only place that was quiet at the time, and so I went to it only cost me a dime, and I could go in and write the song.
At schools, that's a dime now?
Yes. And,
Modern education, I tell you.
Well, I did spend 20 minutes, so I don't know if it was...
Over parking.
Yeah, probably a nickel if I were just passing through. But I wrote this song for and about my friends at the Elliott Lake High School reunion, so it
We'll
does have
dedicate
some-
it to them right now, if you'd like to take that high
I'll give it a
chair,
try.
that taller chair,
Thank
and
you.
microphone. Alan Finn, his own son.
Going home, I gotta see some friends of mine. Going home, gonna have myself a time. You know that I've been around and I've been up, I've been down, but I'm back on the ground. Going home, those good old boys driving all them fancy cars, sitting in the back seat, drinking beer, and pretty girls, yeah, looking just the way they were, still dancing after all these years. Going home, gotta see some friends of mine. Going home, I'm gonna have myself a time. You know that I've been around and I've been up, I've been down, but I'm back on the ground. Going home. Well, how you doing? You know, it's been a long, long while. I'm glad to hear you're doing fine. I moved away, yes, and now I got a wife and kids, and we ask of you from time to time. Some took the long road there and back, and now they're walking home proud and tall. But some took the wrong road along the way, and they're never coming back at all. It's been fun, now we should keep in touch, let's try. We should never say goodbye, but if we never ever should pass this way again, we'll have these memories till the day we die.
The people in this small Nunavut town are surrounded by Arctic wilderness. That means sharing the terrain with giant predators that are starving. The town of Arviat is perched on the western shore of Hudson Bay, and people there have been killed, victims of the bears' growing hunger. So tonight, we want to show you exactly what they're dealing with. And to do that, we asked the CBC's Jordan Kunik to tell us the story in Inuktitut, one of the main languages spoken there. So here is what the people of Arviat are facing.
Arviat Nunavut minigani helnik panguyok. Pero pala maging naktok nunalik 2,500 ni inokakluni. Amihut inuit tamani makaehok dut ekalehok dulu. Kiheni kau yaw takpale maging naktok akbang miutang nut o kau heriyaw gayuk toklutam na. Unwa kutaw toko gayakubit ay bale itit pileribik ni. 250 kilograms o kumain nilik nanok nekik kaminit kinekto.
We always tell our children to look outside closely before walking out, and to always watch out for any polar bears that are coming in too close to town.
Mayor tugle akveneo kaktok ekkaitik sikta kayugya kakmata akvermeutanit nanuit ulogenak kimaginnak mata. Takuyaw gayuk kita kangatallo nanuit 8 ngutahoktut unnuk atauhek akveni heoktut. Nanong nit mene kiyikaleksutik unnuakut pilirikataw tahoktut. Takwa December nungwanut tikillugu pilirikataw naaktut. Piliraka takhimaleksutik ukyunit 8 ni kangek himayunit akvermutanit. Mene kisutik nano kaloalerangat. Ukalugu taktuloaksutik unnuakut ikakani 24 hours nit ublong nilo 7 nik.
The patrollers and the wildlife officers respond immediately to deter the polar bears that are too close to the town.
Nanuliriyi tuku chimang na ayoktut. Ugyak ni pata pekutinig lunit hekupteri patakiheni. Kinamerlu nanugutekang iluni nanung ni ayoksuni.
Each number has a name.
Canada meet 600 ukyutamat nanuguti tuniyaw tahoklutik. Ukyaw tak tuniyaw tahoklutik. Akbermutat piyulo agamininan tuniyaw tahoklutik. Makaiteo kataw miyok Brian Aglukak okakluni nanong mitakuyuni kanik tumikap peanak tupmat makaiteo lek kaming itununaglat.
Piwing inap tigole ekhenak tu yuk mata kapenak tu yuk mata piunak na mituniyo na to pa inung mi ino ninna mat nakanilug logo.
July nguti suhu Aglukak makaiti kanek lutaw tulaw kemayut nanong mituku chiyumik inung mi. Umatin nilulaw kalawak suni ukihani nanok kanilawalaw suni. Aaron Gibbons nutak kangit pingahut taw tuklutik. Inoak kilaw tut nanok.
Pingwa kayo melaw man. Tigo yaw tamak suni. Nek nga gutabo na kimak taw kami. Ki yaw hima kami te. Timiluk ta nga kubak tamak suni. Okiki melaw mago. Takun ni kublo ni. Hiwulak pa ngublo ni te alakito suni pa yak taw yumit.
Gibbons na yagi yang Darlene o kakdo Canada o gabamak kungit piliri katikak kanerakak mata inung nit. Nanugutinit pidyo te kaklutik nunaling nit meanek kelutiglu inung nik.
Inuit tappa inaw yun kawya mayutlu yung mata ilaw titaw kaluk tangit lutip piktak mata. Tekwa nanuit menerayo lualang mata. Kawiyak tangit lutiin nakalung ni makaite kalung ni.
Kawiyak tit gabamak kulu katut yakatigi kulu pilire katigi sutik nan nugutiu tahok tunit ihumak kakheok tahok tut. Ihumalu tigiyaw kanek tok gabamak kut nan nugutik kaneng nit. Tunihit tangip mata nunaling nut nanuit amihungok palea magin naktisugit. Takwa at yakok taong itisugit nan nugutilo amihungok paleang itisugit. Akbeang meutat uloganak tumiheorogiyut kapeanak tumiheok sutiglo nan nugutinit. Nanuit amihungok palea magin naktisugit nekiheok tut. Jordan Kuni, CBC Pivalet, Kalungni.
Fascinating story. Up next on The National, a Canadian Olympian finally gets her moment at the top of the podium, and that is our moment of the day. But first, in case you missed it, a touching tribute from George H.W. Bush's faithful companion. Sully became his service dog in June, just a few months after his wife Barbara Bush passed away. The yellow Labrador Retriever has been a constant at his side.
Sully.
Bush had a form of Parkinson's disease, and Sully was specially trained to open door levers, pick up items, even call for help. The final time the 41st president was seen in public was to cast his ballot in last month's midterm elections. Sully was right there at the voting booth. Despite the passing of his owner, Sully's work is not done. He'll join other service dogs at the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center to provide therapy to wounded soldiers. Today, Sully accompanied his late master one final time traveling with the family from Houston to Washington ahead of the state funeral. The family spokesman posting this photo of Sully lying next to President Bush's casket, still keeping watch. The caption, mission complete.
How'd it look?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. It's a nice permit. The country's been waiting for it.
It took months to settle on a name. Its ad rates are still being tested, and its printing plant needed new equipment to upgrade. Still, Conrad Black's much-anticipated national newspaper is turning the newspaper industry in Canada's largest market upside down.
Post. National Post.
Why should they be reading the National Post? Well, because it's good paper. We've got excellent writers and lots of variety, lots of flair. It'll be a good paper. If it isn't a good paper, people shouldn't read it.
Maybe stay here for 6 months.
This is the Post's Nerve Center, the Toronto newsroom at Southern's headquarters. Now, no one can accuse competitors of being unprepared, judging by the battle cries from newspaper executives and the money being spent to shore up defenses. The Toronto Star's publisher wrote an internal memo to staff which reads, "Make no mistake, this paper is directed at us and our domination of the Toronto market." The Globe's publisher made a speech to his staff saying, "We're going to kick some, we're going to do well against the Post."
The Post starts its run today. Some say that Conrad Black is the best friend that journalism and those who practice the craft have. He's buying newspapers, creating employment and competition for the best talent that's out there. Others, though, see him in a different light. They say that his is a corporate philosophy obsessed with profits before anything else.
Well, the question I want to ask at the outset today...
James Winter is a University of Windsor professor of communication studies. He's the co-author of the Big Black Book, The Essential Views of Conrad and Barbara Emile Black. Winter maintains more newspapers don't necessarily mean more editorial diversity.
Even though he's argued that he's adding diversity to the left-wing so-called press, in reality, he's diminishing diversity because so much of what's in his newspapers is the same. He relies for international news on his Chicago paper and his Daily Telegraph in London, and around this country it's coming from the Hollinger/Southam chain. And the columnists are the same old people, Andrew Coyne and Lauren Gunter and all these right-wing voices.
Former Saturday Night Magazine chief Ken White is the National Post's editor-in-chief.
I don't see how any thinking person could expect that the advent of a new newspaper, a new voice, a new dimension to the conversation journalistically in Toronto could in any way choke opinion. It enhances opinion. I think that the advent of the National Post means Canadian public life is far better off.
Christine Gerard placed 4th in weightlifting at the 2008 Olympics and won the bronze medal in 2012, but that all changed after the IOC found that some of her opponents tested positive for doping. It turns out Gerard should have actually placed 3rd in 2008 and 1st in 2012. Well, today, finally, she was formally awarded the bronze and gold medals for those competitions, and that is our moment of the day.
Christine Gerard.
I'm so proud to be able to be here today, stand on the podium, not only for me, but for our country and for clean sport. It's really wonderful. It was kind of if I lived through a lie, right? So at first it was really hard to take until I realized what it meant. I became a double medalist because I stayed clean, because I worked so hard, because I went through all those obstacles, and because I overcome them and became stronger mentally and physically. All I can say to the athletes that are training now and they do it clean, yes, it's the hard way, but it's the right way. And staying true to your values, true to your body, respecting your body, that's what athletes and sport means.
You know, it's a happy ending, but it's far from a case of no harm, no foul. her life may have been very different post-Olympics had she been Christine Gerard, the gold medalist. I mean, you know, sponsorship's one thing, but there are lots of ways an athlete's life can change immeasurably after a big score at the Olympics.
No,
but she's
no
still
kidding. I was thinking, Andrew, that there's probably no moment in individual sports like there is for that Olympic athlete that gets to top the podium and gets the gold medal, not years later, but actually at the Olympics. She was robbed of that, but I'll bet you there's some Canadian Olympians watching right now who know that they didn't get their medals ever, that the cheaters ahead of them were never found out. So at least she did eventually get her day. That is the National for December the 3rd. Good night.
Good night.